Greetings and salutations. My name is... Wait a minute. Are you an Imperial agent? I think you're answering a question with another question in an attempt to confuse me. I think it's working. Only an Imperial agent would be so cunning. Which is surprising because they're normally so stupid. Well, 2 can play that game. So can 3. Pretty much any number less than 12. Of course. Not officially, but I follow the one true king of Skyrim. Not that harlot widow, what's-her-face, General Tullius. What kind of name is that for a jarl? Or a woman? General. Sounds like something I'd name a store. Or the assortment of garbage that collects under my foot. Of course, Ulfric's a strong Nord name. A strong Nord name for a strong Nord man. Some people even think Ulfric is Talos reborn. That's ridiculous. Ulfric isn't the second coming of Talos. He is Talos. That's right. Tiber Septim has been hiding ever since he faked his death in the 38th year of the Third Era. I can prove it. I was there. What? Have you been sticking fire salts up your ass? Well, you shouldn't. Sure, it feels good, but it'll give you the meanest rash. Not that that'll stop children from doing it. Children are the worst breed of fungus. I should know. I used to own one. Huh? What question? I never said that. You ought to get your eyes checked. I'm not a day over 20. What happened is, I got my hand on this thing. It's called an Elder Scroll. I used it to travel to another dimension, where they had invented time travel, and something called a centaur. I think it's like a minotaur with the head of a centurion. What? Then it's already begun. Right, so the Moon Elves sent me back to the dawn of the Third Era. It's there that I wrote this book about the mystery of Talara, whose story came to me in a dream. It's about a princess who lost her identity following a royal murder plot. And that's when I realized, to avoid assassination, Tiber Septim was secretly living in the Imperial City as a prostitute named Sheena. I need to grow more cabbages. You can never have enough cabbages. Right, so it's there. It's about a... And that's when I realized, to avoid assassination, Tiber Septim was secretly living in the Imperial City as a prostitute named Sheena. Of course it doesn't make sense. I haven't told you the whole story. Tiber Septim is a shapeshifter. Well, that's the thing. He never existed. Of course, some people say he was seduced away by dark elves. What a bunch of chicken feathers. Just another thing dreamt up by mages who need courage spells to confront the fact they're all miserable failures. I send letters to the false queen, Jarl Tullius. Scathing missives that mock her figure and the vast emptiness of her pink palace. At the bottom, I sometimes scribble drawings of a pornographic nature, just to further illustrate my point. And trust such an important message to an amateur? Never. The letter stays in my pocket until I can find an official courier. This dump? Are you out of your mind? I just sleep here, live here, and use the vegetable. Some plant mage. Probably wasn't a very good one either, using a stove for an alchemy table. let him move back in. I said I'd let him move back in. I didn't say I was moving out. I'll let him sleep on the chair out back. Unless he snores, then it's the axe. There's a war going on and I have letters to write. I don't have time to be civil to someone who bays like a horse every time he takes a nap. Haven't you been paying attention to a word I've said? The Stormcloaks are my family. I had a father once, Thornvar the Nail. The way he talked, people used to say he took a hammer to the head, hence the name. Nobody says that about me. I'm nobody's nail. I'm the hammer. Got what you needed, did you, you Imperial agent? Too bad for you, the Moon Elves taught me a spell that will erase your memory. All I have to do is look into your eyes and wait for it. Wait for it. There!
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Welcome to the Villamere Inn. If there's anything I can get you, just let me know. Linley, would you mind taking care of the customer, please?
No problem. You want a drink? Pardon me, my lord. Do you fancy a bit of music? Would you care to hear me play my lute? Of course. If you'd like to hear something, it only costs 5 gold. That's so sweet of you. I'll tell you what. I'll play a special song, just for you, for no charge at all. By the gods, it's true, isn't it? A dragon has attacked Whiterun. How could mere men bring down such a beast? Depends. Are you thirsty, hungry, both? I've always fancied a journey up the 7,000 steps to the monastery. Anything to break the boredom of living in this town. I envy you. No, I'm sorry. I just play the lute. Would you care to hear something? Right away, my lord.
Need something? Hmm? I'm waiting. Yes? All right then.
We don't get many visitors through here. Unless they're headed up to High Hrothgar, of course.
Need something?
Welcome, friend. Welcome to the Villamere Inn. Need a room? Maybe a drink? If there's anything I can get you, you just let me know. So, you're headed up to High Hrothgar, aren't you? We don't get many visitors through here, unless they're headed up to the monastery. If you're headed up to High Hrothgar, watch your step. It's a long way down. Oh, while you're here, if I were you, I'd keep away from the barrow on the east side of town. It's haunted. The Greybeards are a solitary lot. I don't think they've ever ventured outside their monastery. We get the occasional pilgrim passing through here on their way to the summit, but almost all of them have returned disappointed. There ain't much more to tell. They're haunted, and you should stay away. Look, I've seen one of the spirits with my very own eyes. When it glared at me, I swear it burned right through my soul. Fortunately, they seem to be sticking to the barrow. I think they're guarding it. Certainly isn't helping my business any. Who'd want to rent a room anywhere near a haunted barrow? If you think there's anything you can do, be my guest. About a year or two ago, some fella named Windelius came through. Said he was some kind of a treasure hunter. I warned him not to go in there, just like I warned you. The very next night we heard screams from the barrow, and that was it. We never saw him again. There's nothing finer than Blackbriar mead. It just so happens that's my specialty. At least, when we can get shipments with the war going on. The best mead comes from Riften, you know. Well, no. Ever had a taste of sweet hunting brew? All right, here you go. This civil war's taken a toll on Skyrim, from what I've heard. At least it hasn't gotten here. Yet. Sadly, I don't like either Ulfric or Elisif much. But this is a peaceful village. We're disconnected from all of the politics, and I'm happy to keep it that way. Don't worry. It doesn't matter who you support in the war. Everyone's welcome here. Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty letter. If you're headed up to the monastery, watch your step. It's a long way down.
Got to thinking, maybe I'm the Dragonborn, and I just don't know it yet.
Is it absolutely necessary for you to bother me right now? Is it absolutely necessary for you to bother me right now? What do you want? Clinic brings food supplies up to them once every few weeks, when the weather permits it. Other than that, they seem like a quiet lot. Don't really know too much about them. What a boring subject. You don't look like a pilgrim. Why bother visiting Ivarstead? What a boring town. Are you joking? I've been out there every morning. They just aren't biting. It's like trying to draw blood from a stone. What a boring conversation.
I've traveled Skyrim for many years, and it's never been so dangerous. A lot of bandits, they aren't just common thugs anymore. Some of them have military backgrounds, and the fuel for tactics. Ah, a fellow traveler. Have you come to Ivarstead to climb the 10,000 steps? Ha, you're right. My mistake. To be honest, it was more of a guess than anything. I never actually learned how many steps there are. In fact, I don't know much about the world outside Riften. 10 long years, Pilgrim. I left the city to deliver a letter, of all things, and I got a little lost along the way. Somehow, I don't think Paul Agnes is going to make it to the wedding. Actually, I hope to make this my final detour. I've been told the city is just a stone's throw to the east. Of course, I've never had the best aim. Simple. I grew up in an orphanage. Never got what you would call a traditional education. Yes and no. I don't begrudge the place, but it did leave me a little green around the gills. You have met Gleilad the Kine. Now there is a hag. Although really, I mean that as a compliment. This may sound odd, but I like Gleilad. Her tough love made me into the man I am today. Of course. She's strict, mean, and has little patience for noisy children. Everything a parent wants in a teacher. Naturally, I didn't always think so. When I was little, there were many times I wanted to do Gleilad harm. I even tried to bribe a guard into killing her by offering one of the orphan girls as payment. In the end, I am thankful the god didn't turn me in right then. How foolish a child I was to think I could convince an adult to commit murder. That doesn't raise my confidence. but I suppose we all have our own fate. Good luck, traveler. May all your adventures be worthy of song. I hope the road brings you adventure, traveler. I prefer not to talk about those days. I appreciate the hard lessons Greylaw taught me, yet I am in no hurry to revisit them. Well, I've mostly learned it's dangerous. There are more than beasts out there in the wilderness. Ever seen a hag raven? Bitches with faces like wrinkled potato skin. Luck can only take you so far. One day should turn on you like a sudden snake. Hag ravens can't be felled by luck alone. I should know the practically family. When I was a boy, the other children used to tease me because of my name. Said my mother was a Hagraven queen. Prince Hagraven, they used to call me. Little bastards can be cruel, but if they ever saw a real Hagraven, they wouldn't be so quick to jest. I have a view, if you'll indulge me. In my journeys to the north, for instance, I found a palace with domes painted like the night sky. There were towers that touched the stars overlooking oceans as blue as sapphire. Yet the true jewel lies in the pit of the city dungeon. Inside one of the cells is the most beautiful damsel you will ever lay your eyes upon. But her voice is dirty with pain. She had been beaten and tortured. Yet through it all she faces those who greet her with dignity and pride. Yet I sense beneath her tough veneer that there was a twinge of sorrow. Not for herself, but for those on the battlefield she cannot save. Sure thing, friend. Let me tell you about my days as a brawler. It was sans dusk and I had spent my last coin on a bottle of cheap swill. I was still young and foolish then, and spent gold like a skiva eats cheese. To earn some money I took to brawling in the taverns. The gold barely paid for the healing potions I needed to cure my broken bones. Well, I bought so many potions the local alchemist took pity on me. She gave me a recipe on how to make new ones. Of course, idiot that I was, instead of learning how to make the potions, I sold the recipe. Then I went back to the tavern to brawl, and I lost it all to some big Nord cow. I was such a fool. Good. My feet are sore from travel, but the pain is proof of life. I once visited Rorikstead because I fancied the song about Ragnar. Strange to find a town named after a still living person. Rorik of Rorikstead. I guess that's why they call it Old Rorikstead. Must have had another name, unless the song isn't as old as I think. I don't have a tale offhand, but I can tell you of how I learned to craft them. You see, early in my childhood, I had the dislike of names. It never really described anything. Well, take Riften for example. Does the name tell you about its people, its culture, its history? Does it describe the dampness of the air as it wafts in from the canals, or the leaves that roll down from the sky like autumn tears? Names do not make a city, and they do not make a man. Yes, but only if you've been there. Otherwise it means nothing. Yes, but wanting to and knowing how are two separate things. When I was young, a beggar in the Ratways, a former explorer, used to tell me tales of his travels. Knowing my history, he always made an effort to be as descriptive as possible, to use his words like a painter uses a brush. Neither, he taught me how to paint. Until next we meet.